Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wrong One's podcast. I'm Dinesh Sagi, joined by Punk and Amar. How are we, gents?
Hello, guys.
Good man.
How you two doing?
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
great. Saturday afternoon. Nice British weather with some rain around. Uh, Gloomy. Just grab some lunch. So yeah, it's like perfect Saturday afternoon for me.
Perfect Saturday afternoon to watch cricket
Yep,
and talk about it. Yeah.
absolutely. Obviously, some big games unfolded between yesterday and today. So obviously now focus will be on yesterday's game,
hmm
where we obviously had a big announcement with the CSK at home that unfortunately the current skipper Rutraj was ruled out for the rest of the IPL 2025 season due to some headline fracture. That means, like we discussed in the previous podcast, one of their uncapped player, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. For some of our viewers or subscribers who are not familiar with him, he is originally from Ranchi, Jharkhand. Did play a little bit of cricket in his heydays. Haven't maybe done significantly enough to obviously be a cap player for India, but still
But did he have
some
any
talent there.
pedigree? Did he have any pedigree with the captaincy?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he might have something. I mean, if CSK is willing to risk,
mm.
the captaincy with an uncapped player, he definitely has something to bring to the table, I suppose. I mean, Punk, I know you're in the weeds of things, obviously, reaching out to all these different socials and stuff. Have you ever heard of this gentleman before? Any insights on MS Dhoni as such?
He doesn't want to
No?
reveal them.
You haven't
Nice one,
either?
man. Well, what you want to talk about, Tony, right?
Right. Here we go.
Well, it's
Rock
a nice
on.
joke on the uncapped player, but this is shows like how important he is for the IPL that they had to, create a rule. That was rule number 7, so they can still
Mhm.
play. Shows that how important for the BCCI and the IPL governing board is like to keep him in the tournament to get those crowds going. So yeah, they're still trying to string the horse and try to take out the last breath from him, whatever he can give to the tournament. But yeah, I like it's good. Like you can still see him. He's still got the touch, but yeah, the team is really can't talk much about. The auction has gone completely wrong, but not no power hitters in the team. So they don't have a single power hitter in the team apart from Dubey, who's still being able to do something. But rest, I don't know what went in the auction to get Tripathi, Huda. They haven't done anything for IPL, and they're not those guys who can hit like 3 or 4 sixes in an over
Mm.
if thing needs to be done. So,
Um,
uh,
but one thing
but yeah, I
I
can
would
see
raise here
Pawan.
is, yeah, there's a comment there, but I would raise one
Yeah.
thing that of course we do understand that IPL needs MS Dhoni and just for the marketing purposes, and he brings crowd, pulls crowd to the matches, and also a fan base. That is very important. We do understand that, and of
Mhm.
course, all the fans would want him to play, want him to be associated with IPL and CSK as well, because he has been. Uh, a kind of a creator of that massive franchise, you can say, in a way that he has brought that amount of success which no other captain has in IPL. But of course, there's one thing that is the IPL guys wanting him, but with his injury, is it good on his part to uh, be part of the team? Do you think so? I mean, if he's not able to bat before 15th over, is it good on his part to be the part of the team?
So
so
there's a
like
couple of things.
just like there's a question here, comment from Pawan as well, right? So he's
Mhm.
asked like, should Dhoni had retired in 2023? I definitely agree he should have retired in 2023. It was the peak, getting his captaincy and winning the last thing. But when in that interview, he did tell something. What happened in 2023 was like wherever he went, right, in Calcutta. any place, right? 60-40, some places it was like 90-10. The crowd was CSK close, and all the fans knew that this could be his last IPL. And so they came across, and then in the interview he did tell, right, the easiest thing for me after winning the cup, it is the easiest thing for me would have to retire, but I just want to give one season for the fans. And he got that leg. He still came in 2024 last year, and with that injury, whatever he could do, they got like 7 games they won, right?
Hmm.
But I think so this year it was like going to the mega auction, right? I was a bit surprised that Dhoni was still bought in, uh, because you could see last year he was struggling, and that's it, right? You can't. It's a competitive game, right? But you see the franchisee and IPL, they've come up with these rules so that they can still hold on to Dhoni, right? I think so.
Hmm.
They need to go past Dhoni now. This is last. I don't see him coming next year anymore, right? And with Ruturaj, right, getting injured, this has become a bit of more challenging, right? Because this was the season for Ruturaj to completely take over from Dhoni, and now he's injured, and there's no other, you know, like even like for Jadeja, right? He did get a chance to captain, and that season went really all right for him as well. So the only option was to go back to Dhoni now. There's no other, like, guys in the team who actually, because after the mega auction, you lose a lot of players,
Yeah.
and you have to rebuild the team, and it's going to be challenging for them, to get a captaincy going. And your main captain has got like injured this year, so let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But
I have
definitely, I agree with Pawan that he should have retired at 23. It would have been like peak of his career, getting 5 IPLs
yeah. I have slightly different
and
take on
total
this.
win in the T20 league, two as
On
Champions
this
Trophy as well. So
on this view, I have slightly different take on this one. Um, in my opinion, retiring is a personal thing. That when you say, "Oh, you should retire on a high," but if a player thinks that he can come back, then there's nothing to stop him. In my personal view, he should not have retired, and he didn't retire. The only problem happened when he came back with an injury, and if that was not the case, he would have been more useful to CSK batting lineup. Now at this moment of time, he can keep very well. The batting is just in question. That he cannot bat beyond, before 15th over. He should have,
18th.
in situations, he could have in, before 15th over as well. But because of his knee, he's kind of not being able to do that. Also, um, again, with this is also magnified by the performance of the top order batsmen. They're not giving that start. The middle order is also not looking that good. And what is highlighted is, how is Dhoni going to bat? But of course, Dhoni can't be there because he's injured. So, in my opinion, of course, he did not retire and he come back, and I think that was the right thing to do. But he should not have come in with the injury, because this is hampering the team.
Yeah.
yeah, even in 2023, right, when they won the IPL, right, Dhoni was like coming around the 15, 16, because that year also he had this knee injury. The problem with CSK is like they have calculated, they pulled Dhoni down at like number 7, like, you know, to bat. But this year, the only challenge they are facing is like the top order, right, the 4, 5 batsmen above him are not able to even contribute like the runs which is needed at all. So in 2023 also, if you see, he batted like 6, 7, and as and when they needed him for like he hit those sixes coming down the order. Right? This is the only and I've told you like in our previous podcast as well, right? If Dhoni is coming at 7, the top 6 batsmen, they have an opportunity to go full on. Yeah. And you know that the last 4 overs, it's like Dhoni's territory. Yeah. And if you see in the entire IPL, he's got the most runs in the last few overs, right? And this is not like, if you look at the stats still, he's still got strike rate more than anybody in the team. Uh, so this, it's not only on, the thing is, because Dhoni is so big, everybody's focusing on Dhoni itself. But look at the entire team. There is like, like yes, the game which CSK played. Have a look at the opening. Weber Aurora goals at 130, right? These guys were taking singles. Those some of the shots were like clear sixes. Uh, and you're talking about foreign player, right? And like Rachin is young, 22, 23, right? So it's not that CSK has not got a young player to come in and back, but it's the entire team has gone out of form, which is very rare to find in any circumstances. Like this is like your first top five, six batsmen are not in form at all. And like the players they've chosen, right? They're not any of these players are not like they can start at the first ball they can hit for sixes. You see, this is where the auction has completely gone wrong for them. They have not got the right players at all. Uh, and like in terms of the batting lineup as well, right? CSK always used to have batting till number 10, and they used to go from ball one. If you see those big openers they had, this is the only time where they're struggling. Even with Devin Conway, right? You can see that he's not that Devin Conway he was, which was in 2023. His last few years in the international cricket, he hasn't scored much run. I was surprised, like they went, they could have gone with any other foreign players like, who had better strike rate, who was in form. So yeah, like you can't, I know everybody like if anything goes wrong, you point to Dhoni, right? But if you look at the entire team, you look at Ashwin, how badly he's been performing, and this is not the same Ashwin, 2024 or 2023. Uh, his ball, like he's just like he's just giving those really loose deliveries in the power play, and then like there's that Ashwin is gone, and like he's more of a burden now for the team because neither he can bat and neither he can bowl those overs which are critical in the power play. So Ashwin was bought to bowl in the power play because that's how CSA's strategy is. With you have like Pathirana who will always like generally comes after the 10th over. So you have two fast bowlers, right? So you have to have that spin guy who can come in and bowl that 1 or 2 overs in the power play. So that's again, the entire thing has gone wrong for them. They
Yeah,
had taken that risk of experience, but the entire experience has gone for a mist here
no.
because these
So
guys are not showing up at all.
a couple of things, right, Punk? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you, right? So obviously, no, all the jokes aside, one of the things I want to just put it out there for anyone who's watching us and sort of listening to this podcast, right? MS Dhoni, great skipper, one of the best in the world. He's done a lot for Indian cricket and CSK cricket, right? 2023, exceptional. They won the championship out of nowhere because at one point they weren't even in for qualification when what's his name, Jaddu was leading. Dhoni took over. Things just flown for them. They won the championship, and to your point, he saw the crowd. He said, "Okay, I'm going to come back, do something for the crowd." 24, things didn't go to plan. 25, it's a mega auction. It's the opportunity for any squad or any franchisee to rekindle, right? So this is where he could have been smart enough and said, look, and end of the day, he knows his body better than anybody else. Like, obviously if he knows there are some injury worries or something like this, not probably, and one of the things we also have to remember, right? And this is something, and I've got nothing against Dhoni. I'm just being very honest, played a sport at some level. If you're not playing this sport at a competitive level where you're playing for India or you're playing Ranji Trophy like throughout the year, then you can't be at the same pace when it comes to IPL. Let me remind everyone, IPL is a different beast. IPL is as big as international cricket. You have to have that sort of level of fitness, that sort of match practice, everything to go for you, because that 2 months takes a big toll on your body, both physically and mentally. And for some of the players who've retired, and we've seen this, like some of the players like Warner retired, and a year after he wasn't even picked by any of the teams because they started realizing after the first year after he retired he's not the same player anymore because he hasn't been, and in Warner's defense, he's playing other leagues as well. Whereas when you come to Dhoni, he's only playing IPL. Rest of the year he hasn't done any other sport. I'm sure he's obviously doing his fitness, like doing everything he could possibly do for the team and the franchisee. And I'm also about to call out BCC and IPL on the comment you made, Punk. If BCC and IPL wants to sell tickets using Dhoni's name or Dhoni's fame, that's not the right thing to do for the sport. And the reason I say that is I'm going to bring some comparison with what happened with some of the football clubs across the globe. Spain, Barcelona, Messi. They've sold Messi to the crowd, and then one point they pulled him out, and then all of a sudden when they looked around, they don't have any players to fill his boots. And the
The
same thing
thing is,
happened
like,
with, no, hang on,
yeah.
let me finish, right? And the same thing happened with English Premier League. And I'm going to take back 20, 30 years ago. Arsenal, they were like winning everything left, right, and center in the early 90s. All of a sudden, some of the big players went away. They didn't have a future plan. 22 years later, they still haven't won anything. So this, I'm not saying like that's going to happen with CSK or the franchisee, but the minute you sort of, and I get it, like franchise cricket sells and superstars, you can't put them down. You always have to give them the respect. And to Amar's point, I 100% agree. He earned that respect. He earned that right to retire whenever he wants, but don't do it just for fans or a franchisee or anything. End of the day, sport, right? And if it's my way, right, I still want Sachin to play IPL, or a Yuvraj Singh to play IPL, or someone else to play IPL. But they've realized, no, we're not contributing enough for the team or the franchisee, so let the young blood step in.
But
And
you
MI
know,
found it, right?
eh,
When Sachin walked away, they found Rohit Sharma. Now Rohit Sharma is at the end of his leg. They found Hardik Pandya. That transition needs to happen if you want your franchise and the league and the team to survive. That's my opinion. Yeah, go on,
no,
Pankaj.
so like even Rohit Sharma is still playing under Hardik Pandya, right? So Ruturaj, they did try to get Ruturaj, your young blood, to captain.
Mm-hmm,
I just want to add to this.
mm-hmm.
Dhoni still can hit those. If you see last year and even this year in 2023 also with that bad knee, right? He can still hit those sixes. It's not that he's lost his batting touch. Yeah,
No,
it's
absolutely not.
what Amar was talking about, like coming at 10th over and taking the 2 runs. It's not the run. So see the CSK strategy, and I just want to add to this.
Mm-hmm.
Dhoni still has got that power to hit, and he's hitting those. If you see the games, right, and everybody is just targeting Dhoni because they're not understanding what's happening.
No,
The
action.
first five, six batsmen are not performing. They are like literally like sitting ducks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if your first 4, 5 batsmen could have given you like the 130, 140 runs at say at 15 overs, right? Dhoni still has got like the target to hit. And if you look at strike rate, is 180, 190. That's what he's hitting at, you know, in the games where he's played
Pank, I think the
those five,
point
10 overs.
you're failing to
The
notice is playing 6 to 10 deliveries and scoring at 180 strike rate is different
see
from when the team
what
is
I'm
not playing well, right? Let me finish. You said the top six failed. Then I was about to say when the top three failed, why didn't you walk in and steady the ship and see what he could do rather than allowing and the point you also made, Ashwin, again he retired from international cricket. He's a spinner who can bat, no disrespect, Ashwin can bat, but if we allowing someone like Ashwin to walk in at over number 10, and this is not the first time, he's done this twice now, and you're sitting back because you want to just only walk in at number 17 and start hitting at 180, I don't think that's going to help the
I'll
team
tell you, okay.
or
Now
Dhoni's
I'll tell
cause.
you one. Now you're just picking up this point, right? I'll tell you
Mhm.
in 2023 IPL, right,
No, let's
against
not look at
Mumbai.
past. Like if
No,
you
no,
keep
listen,
looking at the
listen.
history, you
No,
never
no.
move
I'm just
forward,
telling you
right?
what I'm trying to tell you. So, like, it's a calculated risk. IPL is not about just sending somebody in, right? It's a calculated risk. Now, just pick this, okay? Look at one of the matches against Mumbai, right? He
Mhm.
sent Deepak Chahar ahead of him. Do you think Deepak Chahar is a better batsman than? And that
No,
time Dhoni was
that
still in
is
form.
what we're trying to
And you know
understand.
what happened?
Mhm,
What happened? Deepak Chahar just scored that runs.
mhm,
See, sometimes it's a calculated risk, it misfires. Okay. So
mhm,
just picking up on this, it's slightly different, okay, compared to what he has done even in the past, right? He
mhm,
sent some of the guys ahead of him so that they can just because they're all rounders, all rounders. If you're in the team, right, you also have to show you need to get an opportunity to when the team is struck,
mhm.
right? You also get an opportunity to show that whether you have that in to take you. Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur, right, hit those against Mumbai. It was completely
That's one
changed,
of the.
right?
They only played
It's
one
not,
innings here and
there
there.
are many instances. If you want, I can take out this. What I'm trying to say is it's a
Mhm,
calculated risk. A lot of people do that. And Ashwin, not for once.
mhm,
Rajasthan Royals have used him a number of times ahead of some of the really bigger power hitters to go and hit those, and he's done it. So
mhm.
just to tell that, because Ashwin, say that Ashwin would have given you like 20, 30 runs of like which he has done previously in. during the RR time. This is the first time he's got like 10 overs to play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Say Ashwin would have given you the 30, 40 runs, right? Wouldn't have told it is good strategy that at least Ashwin as an all-rounder and is Ashwin is no muck with the bat, right? He's got 5 international centuries at
Yeah.
test match, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's previously done it. He's walked ahead of like even IPL. He's walked before Dhoni as well. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes things go wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
the captain takes the blame. If you were, and at that point, like say 6 wickets were down, yeah. If Ashwin walks in, he
Mm-hmm.
scores the 30, 40 runs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then at least he stabilizes the ship, and then then you still have the power hitting below to come down.
So let me
And
ask
if
you a
Dhoni
question,
went
right?
out, and they
On
wouldn't have
that.
even got 70, 100 odd runs as well, if Dhoni would have gone there and
Mhm.
you would have finished the game completely, right? So
So that
see,
point, right?
sometimes this
Let's focus on yesterday's game, right? So you're saying they wanted, Ashwin to walk and stabilize the ship, which they did.
don't not stabilize the
He,
ship. No, they
no, no.
wanted to go him, and he wanted to smack the spinners out.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
just take them off
Let's
the
agree
line,
that,
right?
like, take
That
them
was
off
the
the
plan
line.
basically, and he tried to hit the spinner, he got out. So
He got out. Then at this stage, should Dhoni now walk in rather than using the impact player?
so they got the wrong impact player. Actually, I would have sent.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Because
would have
the
no
impression
that
everyone's
that
getting
impact player
is,
Huda shouldn't have gotten, right. I would have
yeah.
got Overton. I would have got Jamie Overton in instead of Huda to play because he can bowl the fast. Because see, you can't get Pathirana in, right? You lost so many wickets, so I would have got Jamie Overton because he can still bowl fast bowling, right? I would have got Overton to try and still up the strike rate.
I think
You know,
what is happening here is we are kind of trying to justify what has happened rather than what
no, it's
should
not
have happened.
justifying. I'm just telling
But
you, like
No, no, I'm just
this
asking
was
a
a
question,
calculated
right?
risk. It
So
okay,
did
the
not
okay.
question.
work.
Let's look at it
That's
in a
it.
different way, right?
Mhm.
What I want to look at it is how or why CSK is failing, why it is failing from right from the start.
Mhm.
So top order, they are not firing in. First
Yes.
of all, they have to start, making runs. They have to give that start and
Mhm.
massively. I mean, one thing is baffling me massively is last year we saw so many 200 plus scores.
Yeah.
That
Conway and
was 20,
Gaikwad
that was
partnership.
2024, and it was very much going to happen that 2025 would also be in that direction. And
Mhm.
we have seen the evidence now that the teams who, other teams and the teams who have followed that are doing really well. And right from the start, more often than not, the run rate they are going at with is 10 runs, 9 10, 8 9 10. That's the run rate they are going with. And I feel that CSK has missed that approach. They just missed that bus in the auctions. They did not, um, they were really left behind with the auctions in terms of not getting the right players with that approach, because probably they didn't see that was the right approach. They thought probably it's still stability is still the way to go, and not get players who are takers, who are attacking up front. But now what has happened is every other team is doing that. So first
Mhm.
of all, to start with, that's where they have missed the trick. The other thing was, initially these players, even Devon Conway, he used to give good start as well
Mhm.
to CSK. Then we had Rahane, who batted absolutely brilliantly, and in the middle overs he was giving good runs as well, and I think he opened as well. So
Yeah.
that again is missing from this year's team. I don't know
Mhm.
why that approach has gone. I don't know why the management does not speak to Rachin, Devon, or you have players like Rahul
Tripathi.
Tripathi and
Yeah.
Vijay Shankar as well. There's absolutely no evidence that Vijay Shankar has given that kind of solidarity or momentum to a team. And Rahul Tripathi, okay, he has done well in the past, but again, as Punk mentions in the has mentioned in the previous podcast, that he is kind of he brings in the nervous energy. And so that's why the start and the upper middle order is not doing its job, in the sense they are totally outdated with the current IPL's batting approach. It is just a day and night. If you look at it, the other players are hitting at 200 plus strike rate at number 3, which is you you would think that that is a kind of a position which would kind of solidify the middle order right up front. But even that is not happening here. So Rachin not being able to give that start. Devon is failing again. Vijay Shankar, Tripathi, they are not that. I don't see that as high quality, and also giving that nervous energy. Then
Mhm.
Shivam, it comes to Shivam Dubey. Now Shivam Dubey is a player who will give you those big runs when the spinners operate. And he has done reasonably well with the paces as well. But again, he also needs support. He can't do all by himself.
Absolutely
Then
right.
you're relying on Ravichandra Ashwin. Because of these failures, you have to rely on Ravichandra Ashwin. Now Ravichandra Ashwin is a good batsman, but he's
Mhm.
not a batsman who the bowlers will be scared of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you can't put him in the upper middle order, because that's not going to that only makes sense when the you get runs up front. So Ravichandra Ashwin does not make sense there again. So, and then you have a hitter in your lineup who is MS Dhoni.
Mhm.
But this again, I will connect it to my previous point, that he is an injured player. He cannot bat up, which
Yep.
is, it makes the team handicap. It doesn't matter if you are, in the past you have always batted down, and you have batted with a very good high strike rate. But when the upper order fails, and there is a batsman who an international batsman
Mhm.
made loads of runs. So at times, if you compare Ravichandra Ashwin or Deepak Hooda or MS Dhoni, you know if at all Dhoni was 100% fit, I don't see him not coming at
He would have batted at four or five.
yeah, 13
Okay,
or
so
14.
let me ask you a question, right?
So
So,
okay, just let me complete this. So that's why I'm saying, that's why my first point was that he should not have played with the injury, because that is hampering
absolutely, that was my question
this
too.
lineup. Because
You're not
now
helping
the
the team, right?
situation is
Mhm.
what CSK is caught on is the upper and the middle order batsmen are not firing, they're not making runs,
Mhm.
and there is one person who can contribute much better, is not able to contribute there. But he is coming down, and he's making runs, he can hit sixes,
Yeah.
there's no
Mhm.
doubt in that.
I just want to
So
add to
that's
one more
that's
thing.
where
Yeah,
it is hampering as well. So,
what has
and
happened
and the
with
biggest thing is, just to finish it, and the biggest thing is, why are they not why are they lagging behind with the intent? For the life of me, I cannot understand that. Why are they lacking with the intent? All the players, I'm not just talking about MS Dhoni, right? I'm
Mhm.
talking about every single batter there.
Yes.
um, as soon as one tries to hit, he gets out, and the others are then, we can see they go into a shell. So I don't understand why they are we just hit, you go out, but at least you will have some impetus to the innings and runs. So I think that has lacked massively in the approach, in the mindset. And also it looks like, that is how I don't know if they say it to cover it up, but they say that that's our batsman, that's our plan, that's how we play. But that's not gonna work, right, in this scenario, in this 2025 IPL.
Let me add a
just
curveball,
one
right?
more thing
Pang,
to
sorry,
add.
before you answer,
Yeah,
right? You're gonna answer this as well, right? Couple of podcasts ago, when the last game CSK hasn't been doing well, and I've raised a point around why is MS as a ex skipper not chiming in, helping out someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad has an opinion, tell his players what to do and stuff. And one of the feedbacks that I received from both of you guys, if I remember correctly, is Dhoni doesn't like to get involved. If someone else is a skipper, he lets them do the job, and he
Yeah.
respects that, whatever it is. Right? Fair enough. Yesterday was an opportunity where Gaikwad's not the skipper anymore. Dhoni was a skipper. He had the right to pick the players he want. Why did he not try a younger player like Ansh Bedi or someone else rather than bring in someone like Tripathi who's out of form already? This is your
that is
opportunity to
the
put things right, right? So how come you haven't done that?
yeah, that I agree. Like with Tripathi, I told, like, if they get Tripathi in, then you're going to lose, and and that's, I agree with it. So you sometimes you get the combination wrong. So that is a different thing altogether.
No, I'm just
Mm,
raising, like,
So
that's one of the
Well,
yeah,
things.
so
to be
And
honest,
even
anyhow
that's
you see the
to Amar's
yeah.
CSK
So
point,
that
combination
is
will be
completely
wrong.
yeah.
yeah,
This combination is good
Because
because the way they have picked up the team,
because
right?
yeah, they don't have players.
They don't have players, right? This is a challenge which, and with see, the thing is with Ruturaj getting out of, like, injured, the only option was, because he's such a important cog in the wheel, right? the only option was to get somebody, an experienced guy, to take that, at least see. They wanted to give. I don't think the Tripathi is going to come back again. That's my view. If I get back, then something is seriously wrong with those guys, and they will, like, they, like, I don't want to use the F
In
word,
your
but
word,
they're
DH.
F. They're all DH theirs, right, from the entire management. Okay, and with Dhoni as well, right? So if they pick up Tripathi again, they're going to create a hierarchy in the entire CSK. He's the biggest problem there, right? The one thing I just wanted to add with Amar, okay, the CSK team, right, which they had, okay, they used to play. If you look at the stats of CSK, right, in IPL, they had the most 200 plus scores.
Yeah, 100%.
You
That's what
see,
my question was. That
till
What
they have
everyone's
2023.
done that
frustration is,
in the
like what
Okay,
past.
everyone's frustration is,
so
like.
what I'm trying to say is that 200, they always had 200 plus score, the highest number of 200 plus score,
Mhm.
right? The challenge which has happened is, till 2023, if you see the batting order they had, like the batsmen they had the clutch batsmen, which we call, right, power
Mm.
hitters. You had, like, even Ambati Raidu came in, when he opened like crazy in 2020, you saw the power hitting he had. Then they brought him down because he could hit. They
Yeah,
got in Uttapa. You see those, they were clutch batsmen who could do it.
Mhm.
This is the first time I've seen that. I don't know what's gone wrong. A Sankar, maybe I might give him that he can hit those one or like sixes, but a Tripathi does not have the power. He is more of a timing batsman who has to open the innings. He cannot, and same with the Hooda as well, right? These guys don't have that hitting where they can hit this
pedigree.
four,
Yeah.
five, sixes in an over, right? So Sankar, I can still say okay because he's hit. He can hit those three, four, sixes because of his height and the swing he has. Yeah? But the other two batsmen are like literally, I don't know. And going to Conway, back again with Conway, right? If you see his entire 2023 was different. And when you talk about Warner and all that, right? These guys, they they had the power hitting when they were younger. But when you grow old, when you are a senior batsman, right? You have to have power hitting to continue hitting even after power play, which Warner lost in the last 4 5 years, right? So that's the reason they cannot pick a opening and Warner cannot come at number 6 or 7, right? So Dhoni, comparing to Warner, is slightly different. Dhoni has the power hitting. Still, he has the power hitting. The last three,
Yeah,
four overs,
no one's
he can
denying that.
smack
Mhm.
three, four, sixes anytime. Yeah. So just take that apart. The first five, six. The problem what
Yeah,
Amar is
exactly.
trying to
Let's
say
take
is
Dhoni
your sixth
out of this
batsman is a
for
problem.
now. Let's take Dhoni out of
Your
this
sixth
for now
batsman is a
because
problem.
about
Only
we have
Dubey is the
discussed about
guy.
Dhoni.
Only Dubey is the guy who can clutch you for four, five, sixes in that lineup. You
Hmm.
see,
Mhm.
that is the problem. The entire from top to bottom, like the 6, 7 batsmen they have in the team, I can replace all the 7 batsmen and bring in the 7 guys, right? I don't know any of those batsmen apart from Dubey can hit those four, five, sixes and Dhoni. These are the
So do you
two
think they
guys
are
who are power
nervous?
hitters in that bench.
Do you think they're nervous because they don't have the middle order, and that's
They're
why they are
nervous
not?
because the entire batting lineup is they don't have the batsmen.
Yeah,
It's only till Dhoni they bat till
It's all
7.
yeah.
about confidence, right? If
8,
the top
9,
order
10 is
performs
gone.
well,
Okay.
the middle order
The
automatically
num
will
the num
contribute.
the number of 200 runs why CSK had, they used to bat till number 10 always.
Hmm.
So they could send anybody from number 10 to up. You see Abby Morkel, Devin Bravo. I'm talking about your all-rounders. Like they were clutch batsmen.
Yeah, I
You,
can
you see,
kind of
this is
I
where the
kind of
problem
agree with that.
CSK
That
is having.
if you don't have players like whom you have confidence, like up front, if an opener, if I go to open an innings, if back of my mind, if it plays that okay, if I fall, then there's no one to fall upon, or
Continue
they're
hitting,
not
yeah.
going to up the rate, then I will be massively under pressure. I'll just knock around, to be honest. Maybe that is a problem, I don't know, but it shouldn't be in IPL because every as teams go, they pick players to the positions, they match it to the positions, and then play. And so as to the openers, they have to go given a task to open really well, give that blistering start. But if they're not giving, that is really worrying. And again, it's again every single position they are not doing their jobs, and lack of intent is clear there.
Can I
And
just,
like,
like,
just
conclude?
one more thing to add, right? Dhoni
Mhm.
is not a spin hitter. Okay. Just remember this. Dhoni is no more a spin hitter. right? He can hit those fast bowlers, medium pacers, and even like quick 150 plus bowling, right? So
Yeah, agree.
his ability, even like throughout IPL, yeah, his ability was to hit those fast bowlers, right? He used to smack them. And now, if you look at Dhoni, right, you have to also understand his limitation. And this is why people do not talk about. He is not your spin hitter. He has never been, right? Look at his spin hitting. He has not
True,
been a spin hitter.
true, true.
So they are players like Klassen, for example, right? He's your spin hitter. That's why he came. So you have like they are different. Like Dubey, he's your spin hitters, right? Dhoni is your fast bowling hitter. So when Dhoni comes, like when Dubey comes, they do not bring in spin, and Dhoni is the opposite of Dubey. So you see, every team has a strategy, and the strategy is that Dhoni is your fast bowling hitting, and the fast bowlers will definitely come from 16 to 20 overs. That's the time when he's going to smack them. So, that is a strategy which CSK has planned. But, it's some DH has got some really like, players, even experienced players who have never, you know, given you that, 200 plus strike rates. And this is where the entire CSK team is struggling. If I was
Yeah.
like, just to conclude this, right? If I was in their place, I would just drop Tripathi definitely, open with Vansh Bedi, right? Give him an option because he's a wicket keeper as well, and see if I can like continue with Vansh and give them an opportunity left right combination with Conway. Bring Rachin down. Rachin still has got the power hitting him. The problem with Rachin is if you see in he's really done well with ODI, right? He has time there. Okay, in this case, in the first ball itself, when the ball is swinging or something, he needs the for 5 balls, right? And then there's a lot of pressure. Okay, the run rate is not there, so let him come. In the middle order, play this for 5 runs here. He gets his feet moving. He has power hitting with him, but he's not opener material at all, right? I will be surprised. And they tried last year. He
You're saying
struggled.
Rachin's not an opener?
No, Rachin is not an opener for
Opens for New
T20,
Zealand there.
but that it's not working out for the team, right? So sometimes
Well,
what
it's
happens,
open
you
enough. Yeah, that's
no.
this is where that the point you just make in Pang. If you know
So
it's not
sometimes if it's
working
not
out,
working, then you need to try
yeah, but then you won't wait for
build
six
in
innings,
new blood.
right? Third or a fourth
Yeah.
innings, you should have made the change. Why aren't they
But
making the change?
see,
Because
but
the
the thing with
problem here is
CSK, right?
they do
With the
this. This is
problem
what
with
they do.
CSK
They
is
stick to the
they
template.
give an opportunity. Yeah, and for
Yeah,
that's the reason they have reached 10 IPL finals, and that's the reason they've won 5 times. And they've got two Champions Trophy as well. Right? So what I'm trying to say is like they give an opportunity, a long rope, right? And that's what he's getting. But
yeah,
you never know, he might come good, and then
yeah. No,
just that.
absolutely right. But I'm just like
But that's what CSK is, and that's why one of the best franchises, right?
Yeah,
So
and I would
yeah.
like to just say one thing, that every team has their approach that they think would work with them. And as Punk mentioned correctly as well, that because Mumbai Indians and CSK, they have won the highest number of trophies.
Yeah, they've done
They
something good,
kind
right?
of
Yeah.
back their thought process. This year, I can clearly see that that thought process is really outdated with CSK. It's not working.
Hmm.
And of course, and also like Vansh Bedi, you have to throw in these youngsters now. Every single
Yeah,
team has
every
thrown in
franchise is doing
youngsters,
that.
and they are performing absolutely brilliantly, more so than the old guards. And
Yes.
in particularly with CSK, I would say definitely play Vansh Bedi, because you never know when Dhoni's knee gives up,
Hmm.
and you must have a backup with match experience. So you just play him regardless of if Dhoni is playing, he's not playing. If Rahul Tripathi is playing, Vijay Shankar is playing, I would say just play Vansh Bedi somehow.
Yeah,
and,
and
they
my
also have a Sheikh
reason,
Rashid
like
as
I
well,
think,
right?
yeah,
So
we've also went over this over and again, and the only reason I brought this up is because I've got nothing against Dhoni or as a player or a skipper. All I'm concerned is he's not doing any good for himself or the squad by playing with an injury, and it might obviously lead to other things as
Yeah,
well.
my
So
point.
that's where I think this is your opportunity to let the young players take over, because Dhoni can't continue for another 2 years, 3 years. Some point they have to make the switch. They tried it with Jaddu, didn't work out. Ruturaj, it worked out last year. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. But just if that's your player, stick to him another 2 years, 3 years. Let it happen. But if doesn't work, then your vice skipper should be someone else. It can't be Dhoni again. Don't go back to Dhoni for everything. There should have been another player in there, or they could have used someone like Sam Curran, who led Punjab Kings like 2 seasons ago. he's in the squad, he could have given him the chance and asked him to lead the team. Because the dependency builds on Dhoni. I feel sorry for the guy. Like, how much more does he lift that franchise is where I'm coming from. But yeah, all said and done, like,
So
one of the pieces I want to call out is obviously, we can't take any credit away from KKR, how well they've responded after the big defeat, and to obviously be able to chase the score in, like, almost like 11 overs. And obviously Sunil Narayan, what an innings from him, like, that 44 of, like, just 20 deliveries. I think, we obviously have to give credit, whether it's G and
I did,
KKR
you know,
are definitely
I
bouncing
did
well.
warn you guys, right? I did tell like
Yeah.
CSK will get troubled with the spinners,
Hmm.
right? The only guys who can actually hit was Rutu and Dubey,
Yeah.
and both of like Rutu was out, and by
Hmm.
the time Dubey got an opportunity, it was like game over, right? For 5, 6 wickets, all went out, right?
Yeah.
So that is a problem in a team also, right? If you don't have those spin hitters, right, then you will struggle. And Chennai giving with Rutu going out, giving that spin track, right, becomes a challenge, especially when you're open, when the dew comes in. So the next spinners who come in, second half, right,
Hmm.
and Chennai has got dew, right, so they won't be effective as the first innings, right? So I did call out that the spinners will have and two of the greatest spinners are bowling together,
Hmm.
and you don't have spin hitting options on the other side.
Yeah,
So
and also
But
I
if you look
think
at the
Dhoni
scorecard,
did
right?
mention that upfront he didn't expect Wicket to behave that way upfront. Maybe later on, but Ajinkya called it really well. So I
Hmm.
mean that has gone wrong. Quinton de Kock batted well, Sunil Narayan as well as you say, Ajinkya Rahane contributed, and Rinku Singh as well. So all in all, they batted really well um, in the sense that they were expected to face more difficulty with spin later on, but they handled really well with that. And the bat and the team who batted first, they did not. That's also really worrying. I'll just quickly throw one thing here. Again, I'm just going back to the problems with CSK. Now,
Hmm.
batting and bowling is one thing, but I see a team is not settled, and there's really some problem with that. Is when they are not fielding well, they are not together. There's
yeah,
something going
It's
on.
confidence, right? Nothing's
Yeah,
going their
exactly.
ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Catches are being dropped. Fours, boundaries are being missed. So I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, coming back to KKR again,
Hmm.
they held on to their catches.
Yeah.
They fielded well, and of course, they are still that. They haven't lost what CSK has lost. So still, they are good there. Uh,
Absolutely. And the point you raised, Panko, obviously, if you look at
yeah,
the scorecard, right, even when Chennai bowled, their best bowler was the spinner, Noor Ahmad, who bowled 2 overs just for 8 runs.
yeah,
I don't know. Again, this is an opportunity maybe yesterday when they had two lefties opening, just like KKR did, where they brought, like, someone like Moeen Ali to, like, start. Should
yeah. So
CSK have done that? But like
this is
Ash,
no, they got out. They got Ash. Ash got
yeah,
smashed, and
he bowled
I've
the
told
third
you.
over there. By
And
then,
yeah, but like you give 2 overs to your fast bowling to see if there's
yeah,
some swing in it, right?
but
You
that's
get
not what
options.
KKR
Get
did, right? They
KKR
started with
got
Moeen Ali.
they did start like, but see the thing is, no, they didn't start with one. Did they start with one?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
they started Vaibhav Arora first over, second over was Moeen
Yes,
Ali.
yeah. So is this over here and there, right? So what I'm trying to say is like,
Makes a difference. Hmm.
see the thing with Ashwin, right? He's he's lost his mojo, especially when it comes to bowling power plays, right?
Hmm.
He's giving the loopy ones when you know that he won't get catches and all that, right? So it
Hmm.
doesn't work. And like, and I did tell out like Ashwin has become your weakling in this team, right? Because he's not contributing with the fielding, neither he's contributing with your bowling, and neither with any batting, right? So he needs to be dropped.
Yeah,
Okay. I
that
would
was my
rather get a
point.
Huda. I would rather
Why
get a
is he in the
Huda
playing
and bat
11
at
then?
numbers.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather put Huda batting where Ashwin is,
Hmm.
right? And get that 1 or 2 overs from Huda, right? Huda can at least, even if
Yeah.
he gets like 30, 40 runs in 2 overs, it's fine, at least there's a batting below,
Hmm.
right? Vijay Shankar can bowl. So you got like, so at least deepen your batting, even with this problem which they're facing, right? They don't have
Yeah.
clutch hitters. Then deepen your batting with get Vijay Shankar to bowl, get Dubey to bowl, you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
uh,
Dubey should
get
be
the
yeah,
slow
they
bowling.
ones.
haven't bowled.
Dubey
Yeah,
can
they
I,
bowl,
haven't
like
bowled.
Dubey is
he
always
bowls
an
like,
impact sub every game. I don't
yeah.
understand. Why is an
So,
impact sub?
Dubey should bowl the 2 overs. Vijay Shankar can bowl 1 overs. Huda can bowl over, right? If they can bowl 4 overs,
Hmm.
right? Then you have batting till 9. That
Yeah.
will help them to, overcome this problem they're facing.
Hmm.
So not all
Yeah.
games will happen with the same thing which has happened, right? But
Yeah.
at least you will have a little bit more intent. Okay, we have batting till 9,
Mhm.
and give a try, man. Noor is doing really well. Khalil is doing well. Now
Yep.
with Ansul Kamboj, right? You have that, and like that's the only option they have. And you
Yep.
have Patinana who can actually,
Come in
they
and
can, he
obviously
can,
do
yeah,
the
absolutely.
cleanup towards the back end. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, on
cool.
that note,
All
let's
right.
obviously conclude today's session. And again, want to call out, we've got nothing against Dhoni. It's just an opinion. Like in terms of we still want him to go on a high, and obviously I don't want all of this socials where people writing him off. He still has a lot to contribute,
Bye,
but
guys.
maybe not in the extent. But yeah, Punk, appreciate your time.
Yep,
Viewers,
sure.
as we always say, subscribe, share your comments, and Amar, over to you.
Hit the bell icon.
Perfect. Thank you again, gents, and we'll come back with more episodes as the season progresses. Thank you.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.